Hey guys, this time we will be taking a look at Diego as he runs during this clip. Here, he presents with a step rate of around 165 steps per minute. Now this could seem a bit slow, but let's go over the context of the runner a bit more. For example, he can actually run a mile faster than this, as his personal best is currently around a 4:30 minute mile. Remember that with lower intensity paces, this could lead to being able to run at a slower pace at lower cadences. However, this may be a bit slower than I would still anticipate. Now, is this a problem? While it is a bit slow, I would really only start considering to change this if he was starting to have increased difficulty running due to pain, as slightly increased preferred step rate can decrease stress on the joints without sacrificing energy expenditure. Now, the next thing we will look at is the foot strike. Here he presents with a midfoot strike. This kind of landing balances out forces around the lower leg a bit more evenly compared to a forefoot and rear foot strike. Anyway, having this kind of foot strike with this relative pace seems appropriate. What I am more curious about is the foot position relative to the body. Initially, it seems like the shank angle is around 4 to 5 degrees. However, it is important to look at the ground. By looking at this, the camera seems to be tilted about 2 degrees. Taking this into consideration, he actually demonstrates pretty good foot placement as the angle is more around 2 to 3 degrees. Now, taking a look at the vertical bounce, he presents with a bit more bounce than I would anticipate. This may have to do with the lower step rate as I mentioned earlier, as this can increase vertical displacement. It also has to do with the way he is running in this specific clip. If you notice, he presents with a bit of an exaggerated push-off as you can see through the hip extension. I say it could be a bit exaggerated as he's really using the lower back as well, which is why you see the increased arching. Using this strategy is actually more typically seen when someone is starting to fatigue. Next, let's look at the arm swing. Taking a look at the shoulder movement, it seems like an appropriate amount for this pace. However, it does seem like his hands may be crossing a bit more past midline, though we would need a front view to really see it. Regardless, that amount of crossing should not really impact performance, and may be doing this due to an exaggerated push-off as I mentioned earlier. Finally, let's take a look at the head. Here he presents with a pretty good head position as he is looking straight ahead. Overall, he presents with decent form. Things he can consider looking at is the step rate and the way he pushes off the ground. However, this may be more so due to fatigue, and I would probably need to look at more clips to really determine if any changes are actually necessary. And that's it for the quick breakdown.